Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the ASOTV podcast for American Horror Story Cult. Episode 7, Valerie, Solanas died for your sins, Scumbag. I'm your host, Mike, and joining me is Dom and Jake.
How's it going? Oh! Jake's sad.
That was fast.
I like that one.
I like that one, too. Alright then. So this episode was the first time we saw Evan Peters flashing back, playing the role of a famous cult leader, or cult personality. And in this event it was Andy Warhol.
Mm-hmm.
And he was on fucking point.
Oh, he was. It was kind of scary how...
it was terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
This is probably one of my favorite... kind of like side tangent story episodes where they like reveal information that isn't extremely pertinent to the current main plot. I mean, they tied it together well, and I think that's why I really liked it, but I think I was more fascinated with what was going on through these flashbacks than I was with a lot of the main point plots of the current season.
yeah. And playing his girlfriend, Valerie, was Lena Dunham, who we were promised at the beginning of the series would be having a guest role. That took a while. But, yeah, it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
She shoots him. She forms a cult. A cult called Scum. Who, apparently, this was the twist. I'm just covering all the flashback stuff right now. This was a twist I didn't fucking see coming. One, they murdered men. Because, they were anti-patriarchy, straight up, crazy feminists.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they were apparently the Zodiac Killer.
That was probably the most fascinating thing.
Mm-hmm.
For me, anyway. I love the movie, the more recent Zodiac. I mean, it's not recent, but within the last 20 years, the movie The Zodiac. Love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I love cryptograms and stuff like that, so that's why I really started back then started researching Zodiac Killer and got very familiar with the case and everything because of that movie. And then them kind of taking scenes directly out of the movie and then retelling them here with, a twist was just absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And this whole cult flashback is being told from the point of view of BB Babbitt. Finally, we get an actress that would make Jake very happy because we've been missing her all season. Good old Miss Frances Conroy. Who's playing a cigar-smoking crazy feminist who killed people.
Jake doesn't look too happy to see her.
Everything's terrible. This is my toilet. I have to drink out of it too.
What?
My dad died today. My parents took both of my hands when we were crossing the street and they swung me into the traffic, but the truck hit my dad instead.
What?
Okay, then.
So the question I was going to ask, are we missing any like horror story staple actresses or actors that we have not seen?
Yes.
Yeah, Tobin Bell.
What? This isn't Saw. Anyway, that was a fascinating flashback. Evan Peters is amazing.
And I like how we can have. I like when, for some reason, I like when the actors, the main actors, play two different characters in the same season.
Yeah.
'Cause I love seeing these guys are versatile, and I just love how it's the same actor, but they just play the character so well. And when you see them playing another character, like, that's a completely different person. I know it's the same actor, I know, but I don't care because I can almost forget that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they could have gone another route and got another actor to play one of the opposite roles, but I feel like it's still going to tie into the story on a deeper level as this goes.
Yeah, I agree. If he does Andy Warhol that well, I can't wait to see him as Charles Manson. That's going to be fantastic.
Wait, I have a question.
I have an answer? Maybe.
Maybe. We saw the Zodiac Killer in Hotel. Was that Valerie?
It could have been.
Wow. With the Zodiac Killer, he was all masked in Hotel, though.
Mm-hmm.
Or she was.
She was. That's a little fascinating. Well, by the end of the whole thing, when Valerie, is slowly losing her mind, she sees, Warhol. Now, either that's the actual ghost of Andy Warhol appearing to her, or she's just really gone off the deep end and lost her shit.
Yeah.
But, however, she gets up to charge at him, he disappears, she slips and cracks her head on a table and apparently dies.
And I do like the typewriter thing I was talking about last week. Did kind of come into play here. It wasn't part of the major twist of it, which is what I was hoping, but it was still incorporated, and I like that. I like that it was brought up at least.
Well, back on to our present time main story. Kai's plan worked. He's famous nationwide. Everybody knows his name. Everybody knows where he's from and what he's running for. And he wins city council by a landslide. Yeah. He's got it. So that's good for him. And good for his cult. If you're not a woman. Because he seems to be pushing out all the ladies. As Beverly finds out. Because his compound is now filled with volunteers from many states.
Yeah.
All white men, most of them with shaved heads. Well, not most of them, a good portion of them.
And
Yeah, it looked like military brat boys.
Oh, yeah, those people.
Yeah. That doesn't sit too well with Beverly.
Trump supporters and the trust fund babies and all that.
I mean, this doesn't sit well, and she goes to see BB, who introduced herself in the parking lot of the news station to Beverly.
I'm like, who is this character, and where have you been, bitch?
Exactly. So she shows up, and this is where they get the flashback, because she takes BB to a meeting with Winter and Ivy at the restaurant, which was closed. And we find out that we don't know where Allie is. Allie was taken into custody. The FBI could have her. And from the news report, it clearly shows that Meadow was the one doing the shooting. And you would think that whoever had that camera trained on her would have seen the whole thing. Of her shooting herself in the mouth and Allie winding up with the gun. But apparently they didn't, and Allie's in custody. And then we find out. Yeah, I don't know how to approach this. I thought, now, we've been talking for a couple episodes that there's always a twist in the season where something crazy happens. I thought this was now. That it was now going to be two cults versus each other. An all-woman cult and an all-man cult.
I like that.
I liked that too.
But I think that's still going on.
Yes, it's still going on. And, I mean...
The twist of it is Kai's masterminded the all-women's cult.
Right. We get Winter shows up to the house, and Kai's there with the corpses of their parents, talking to them. And, Winter's talking to him about some stuff, and he's like, I found this in your, with your stuff. Oh, it's just a stupid book from one of my classes. And he's like, no, it's not. Don't say that. And he, reads through it, and he's like, this is brilliant. Completely shocking Winter, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And then, when he's going over the different acronyms for their organization, and he, comes up with the men lead, women lead one. Oh, Harrison came up with that one. And it was at that exact point, I'm like, yeah, Kai knows. He's manipulating you. And then the tell the girls I said hi was more like, come on, Winter, you realize he's manipulating you.
I don't think she realized that. I think she realized Kai's aware something's going on, but I don't think she realized she was being manipulated.
Because, I mean...
he has to realize that since all the women were kind of ostracized from his group, that they're probably meeting. And she realizes that. That's what I think her stopping in the doorway was for, not Kai's onto us, or, or he's masterminded it, or something like that,
And then, I mean, they invite Harrison to the restaurant, saying it's a surprise victory party for Kai, and he's all happy about it. Yeah, I'm loving this. And then Ivy scares the shit out of me. Because the first time we see Ivy doing anything bloody or stabby or anything like that, she's hesitant, she throws up, she can't handle it. She had way too much fun sawing off his arm and then cutting his head off. Yeah, this is my exact reaction.
Well, I just love when he calls her out on, the whole Allie thing. She's like, I didn't kill her, I just made her go crazy. Who are you to judge me?
Right, exactly. I just made my wife go crazy. She didn't wind up dead. So, that.
Yeah. See, now, the thing that has me curious and stuff about this particular episode is they made it seem like Valerie Solanas actually killed Andy Warhol. But in reality, that's not what happened. He survived that, and he went to live on for another 20-something years.
Right, so they just, give us a bit more that this is an alternate universe from reality.
Well, they didn't say he died, did they? They mentioned he got shot a bunch of times, but I don't remember them ever specifically saying he died.
In that little vision, didn't he say to her, that's the only thing you're going to be remembered for is killing Andy Warhol? Like, killing me?
Right, but that was a vision.
Yeah.
She might have thought she got away with it.
Oh, she might... So wait, she might have thought he died, and that whole time she didn't, look at the news or anything?
Well, I mean...
guess, yeah, she's so absorbed in other things.
Yeah. I mean, that also was only a couple days after, too, so...
True.
He might have still been in the hospital, recovery, whatever. She might have just assumed that he died. Don't forget the media back then, in... was it 1962, 63, something like that, was not what it is now. It's newspaper, it's not television,
True. There was some television, but most of the, everybody still read newspapers.
No,
yeah, it's not like Facebook with the news, so if she's not reading the paper, yeah, she doesn't know. She thinks she left him dead and killed him.
Yeah? Yeah, that was it. You're right. Okay, I took it under the impression that this was going to be like an alternate universe kind of thing where she succeeded in killing him.
Well, the show does that all the time.
They do.
They do. I'm not saying that's not the case, but he died like 20 years later to gallbladder surgery or something like that. So it could still pan out that way, and we find out, maybe he passed on information or something like that. But the whole like scum thing, that's all real. That not being tied to the Zodiac, but
Right. And
I did like the two men that were in the group. One was actually the one that was toying with the police, being the
Zodiac, the actual Zodiac guy.
Yeah, the cipher guy and all that. And then trying to frame the other dude for it. The one that ran away.
Dirty bitch.
And they wind up stabbing the shit out of him.
And then we know, as the actual Zodiac killings go, that the letters stopped at one point. And then they received like one other letter years and years later. So if we want to take that into like a canonical kind of, yes, this is what happened, that guy that ran off could have sent, like a letter to the police down the road, 10 years later or whatever the case was. But who knows?
Well, during that whole scene, I just got Coven flashbacks. Y'all remember that scene with the Axeman?
Oh yeah.
And the little ladies in their black robes. That's what that reminded me of. And I don't know if it's I don't know if they're intentionally drawing parallels to that, but that's just what it felt like to me. And also because we got Jamie Brewer back for just this one episode, just for those flashbacks, and I love me some Jamie Brewer. She's like coming in like every other season, which is weird to me. Well, I know like she's actually doing movies and stuff, but I just love her when she's in this series. Baby with the Down syndrome does well. She works every single part that she's in.
She does, indeed. So yeah, they leave Harrison's body chopped up in the water, covered in pond scum. Haha. Nice play on words. And Beverly gives that very thinly veiled broadcast like, I know you're watching, Kai. You better wise the fuck up before we kill all you. Is like pretty much the message she's giving there. And, Kai's watching TV, and then he looks at the manifesto and like, well, if he didn't know before, he knows for sure now. Like, right up there. And then it's like, they're so much better when they're angry. Right? And then here's BB smoking a cigar, watching TV with him. Like, fuck!
Did I miss something?
Well,
because I saw those two together, I'm like, shaha.
And you didn't miss anything. I thought the same thing. I'm like, wait, did I miss something? Did the episode, like, Fuck you, Kai.
Did I go to get a sandwich and what? Did the scene happen? I don't understand.
Sandwich.
Even though I didn't eat a sandwich. Yeah. No, I know, it's, it was interesting. I like the twist, Kai masterminding it, but, like, it parallels to Andy Warhol, where he's distancing himself from the women. So we're seeing the parallels there. It's how it's all going to tie back if they're going to continue more with the Andy Warhol storyline, which I do hope, because Evan Peters was fantastic, and I would love to see more of that.
So we know he's going to be playing Charles Manson. Who's the other cult guy he's going to be playing? I forgot.
I don't remember.
I know he was going to be doing two more.
Hmm.
He was going to be I forget his name, the Jonestown guy, right? Basically where the whole idea of drink the Kool-Aid, like that phrase, came from.
Yeah.
For the life of me cannot remember his name. Anyway, I mean, if he's drawing parallels to Andy Warhol and, like, pushing out the women, is he going to draw parallels to him and have half of his cult drink Kool-Aid and kill themselves?
Can we have that, please?
Well, see, what I feel like they're kind of going on a route here is like the Heath Ledger Joker from the Dark Knight trilogy, where it's like...
Evan Peters going to overdose and he's going to die?
No. Oh. Where it's like the bank robbing scene, where it's like everybody had a specific job, and when they're done, they're meant to execute the next guy in line. And that's kind of the route here is we had Harrison's wife, I forgot her name already. Meadow.
Meadow.
Meadow had her role. She died.
Harrison had his role.
He died.
So now
it's like
he's going to be knocking them off one by one.
Yeah, it's like when you're useless or when you're expended, when we no longer need you, we're going to get rid of you so there's no loose ends.
Which is kind of stupid though, because like, what if you need them later?
Then you get new people.
Yeah.
You see how easy it is for Kai to recruit new people?
Especially now that he was shot on TV by someone who was out to get all the Trump supporters. I mean, that's going to rally a bunch of people to you.
Yep. It's just like the Heath Ledger Joker. He could get anybody to help him rob those banks. When he's done with them, he kills them off.
Yes.
Then he doesn't have to worry about sharing the money, doing all that. With Kai, it's the worry about the cult turning on him and people realizing after so long that Kai is a certain way and he's got, these plans and they don't include everybody. And when they start realizing it like Meadow did, they become dangerous and they become a threat to him. So to eliminate them one by one, it eliminates that factor.
And
there are certain skills that people have, though, that you do need and that cannot be replaced. So I'm just wondering if he keeps doing that, eventually he's going to, push himself into a corner and be like, shit, what did I just do?
Maybe.
I think that might be his downfall.
It might be. But if his whole thing is to tear down the system, like he said in episode 1 or 2, and basically be an anarchist, then the parallel to, the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker, is even stronger there because, his whole point was chaos. Introduce a little chaos to the world, and, he wanted half of all the mob's money just to set it on fire. Was his whole deal.
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones, that was it. Okay. So, wait, actually, I think a couple episodes from now is something about, I think it's called Drink the Kool-Aid, is the title of the episode. Or something similar. Oh, boy. Yeah, I don't know if I have any clue of what Kai's endgame is. Is it what he said, or is it something completely out there we have no idea?
I don't know. I feel like Kai is not the mastermind. I feel like there's somebody... I still feel like somebody else is the cult leader, and Kai is just answering to them.
Charles Manson writing to him from prison?
Could be.
Actually, no, I don't like that.
I don't like that either, but you know what? Maybe.
Is it Twisty? No.
Is it the ghost of Twisty?
No, that's not it.
Want more Twisty?
I want more Twisty. We
I
have
mean,
him, 2 episodes.
This has been the first season that's been pretty much devoid of supernatural shit.
So far.
We
like
thought...
that.
We initially, they were giving us that the clowns were something supernatural, and then it's like, no, it's just people dressed up.
See, I wasn't fooled by that, because I called back in episode 1, I go, what if she's not hallucinating?
Mm-hmm. They were very heavily trying to trick you with that, though.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm curious. I mean, this could be our very first season with nothing supernatural.
Which makes this all the more terrifying.
That too, yes.
I like stuff that's grounded in reality, stuff that could happen.
Much as it can be.
Yeah.
This damn show.
Yeah.
I like that too. It's rare. Not a lot
I
of
prefer
shows.
it over supernatural stuff. When it comes to horror movies, I prefer the supernatural element when it's non-horror. Like shows like Vampire Diaries and it's like a fantasy that, I want to escape reality from. But for horror, it's the complete opposite. I want it grounded in reality. I don't want supernatural creatures and things like that. I want something that could actually happen, because that's more frightening to me.
I like that is more frightening, but I like the more supernatural stuff because it can be frightening just by the extent of your own imagination.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is more terrifying than stuff that is grounded in reality for sure. It's fucking terrifying because these things do happen. But if the filmmaker or showmaker can manage to make something to where you terrify yourself just by what your own imagination is, that to me is the most terrifying thing.
Yeah. It's just like, you take horror movies like Chucky. I love me some Chucky. Chucky's one of my favorite horror franchises, but it doesn't scare me because I know that a doll can never come to life,
right?
Kind of thing.
As a little,
no matter what Chucky ever does, it's never going to frighten me.
Right.
But when you start dealing with stuff that is grounded in reality, you start thinking, shit, this could actually happen. Somebody could be crazy enough to do this.
We're not talking about
that is what's frightening to me.
Yeah, prime example is last week's episode. They had to edit it because a week before it aired, it was about a mass shooting. A week before it aired, an actual horrifying mass shooting happened.
And our condolences
Mm-hmm.
to everybody, families, or people who know, anybody who was a part of that.
Or even affected by that at all, in any level.
Right.
Yes. And, I'm sometimes, shows get edited for whatever reason. And when it comes to reasons like that, I think it would be nice if they didn't have to do that, but like there are reasons why they do that. And out of respect for the people who were maybe directly or even indirectly affected by any of that. So kudos to you, American Horror Story, for being tasteful.
For being tasteful and above board on that, because that's, yeah. There are plenty of producers out there who would not have done that.
And see, and that's what I like about this show, is that, this show gets into some punked up shit.
They do. There's
But
lots of...
does it with some class and with some taste.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, that unfortunately is the prime example. This is grounded in reality because a week before that episode aired, it was reality. And that's probably why this is one of the scarier seasons yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you were talking about Chucky. Chucky used to terrify the shit out of me when I was 6.
Why haven't we done the creepy doll thing in this show yet?
Creepy doll.
Well, we do know for a fact we have at least 2 more seasons of Horror Story that was renewed last year for 3 seasons, this season, and 2 more. So they could. We still got time.
Yeah.
I'd like that. With this Murder House Coven thing that they want to do, introduce that. We did have that dummy in season 4,
Yeah.
but I didn't even know what was going on with that though.
And then, I mean, I know a lot of fans always throw this out there. They could bring back the aliens.
Can we do that? Like, what the fuck were the aliens doing? That's what I want to know. I know a lot of people complain about the aliens. I actually do like the aliens because it was the 60s. It was like that whole thing of the sci-fi movies.
That's, yeah.
All that. So I do like that, but I wish they would have explained more. Like, what did the aliens want? Why are you kidnapping these poor ladies? What's with the babies? And I thought season 6 was going to be about that, but no.
Yeah.
And like coming into this season, I didn't even know what this season was going to be about. And this season has taken me by surprise.
Yeah.
I agree. Cult. When I say cult, I'm like...
I said tooken, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, but that's
Taken.
fine. It's... I don't know, I was expecting more of the same. And I am pleasantly surprised that it's what we're getting right now.
Yeah, the clowns aren't even really the focus.
Not anymore.
But they're plastered all over the promotional art.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was like,
I mean, I'm sure they'll come back into play and stuff later. I'm sure that the clowns are not done. But yeah, and it's like I said, every time. Everybody's so quick to jump on American Horror Story of, I don't like this show. And it's like, just ride it out a little bit. Like, you're never going to like the beginning of the show. It's just, it has never happened any season of American Horror Story.
And you know what? If you don't like one season, well, guess what the fuck? You don't have to like follow these characters. At least not all of them.
Right.
Into the next season, or you can go watch the previous season. Maybe you'll like one of those.
But next season we're officially getting the crossover, right?
They said, well, actually, this season, season 7 is the one they wanted to do, the Murder House Coven crossover. Which
I thought it was a whole season dealing with it. I didn't think it was one episode.
No, they wanted the whole season for that to be season 7. They wanted to do it after season 6.
Okay.
For whatever reason, Brian Murphy's going to do what he wants to do, and I guess he was just feeling this theme.
I think it's a great time to capitalize on it. I think waiting any longer for this season would not have worked.
So I think he held off on that just for a little bit, and I think maybe next season we'll get more into that, because like I've been waiting because I think Murder House has definitely had ties to a bunch of the other seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But Coven has kind of like Coven has always been it's different. Coven has always been different.
Yeah, it's a standalone thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And like there are not many references to Coven in the other seasons.
Yeah. And my hopes is now that the Star Trek movies have subsided, that we can maybe get Zachary Quinto back for that season. I mean, he was a pretty big part of Murder House.
It would be cool. I don't know if he's gonna.
Well, I need me some. Well, unfortunately, a lot of the characters in Coven are dead. Spoiler alert.
I need me some Kathy Bates.
We need Kathy Bates back.
I just realized that.
But again, more Kathy Bates, because I have no idea where she is in this series. I was hoping she'd be in this series, but no. Maybe one episode, please. Can we have that? Because she's great in like whatever role you put her in.
I saw she was on this season.
Was she?
I thought she was supposed to be. I thought she was billed for this season.
Well, give it time. It took 7 episodes to give us Frances Conroy.
Frances Conroy, the fuck.
So, I mean, who knows? Maybe she'll show up in the last 2 episodes as like
the young girl who played Violet.
No, she's not coming in for Cult. I thought I read she was, but apparently not.
But that young girl who played Violet, I want her back. She's still alive from Coven. We know Queenie died in Hotel, which I'm still fucking upset about that.
Yeah, Kathy Bates went to a Netflix series called Disjointed. That's why she couldn't appear on this season.
Oh.
I'm still waiting for if they ever do bring Jessica Lange back for one episode. I do not want them to tell us. I want them to like keep,
surprise, bitch.
That, please. Like if you ever like bring her back for like maybe like 2 seconds of screen time, please keep it as secret as you possibly can.
I too would love that, but I honestly don't see it because she's a big draw, and they would plaster her face everywhere for even a 2-second scene to try to get people to watch.
I know they'll probably do that, but like if it's for one episode, people are probably gonna be disappointed if they do that. I don't know. I was satisfied where they left her off in the show, but like I still miss her. I know she's doing. I don't know if Feud is getting a 2nd season. I don't think it is, but she was doing that for a while. Also, another Ryan Murphy show, and it's Jessica Lange, so of course she's like doing all the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, next episode is called Winter of Our Discontent. That is clearly a play on words.
No.
No, I know.
I mean, we have a character named Winter.
And she's not really content right now.
No, so they're clearly talking about seasons.
Yeah.
Season of the Witch. There was a Coven. Oh, guys, I figured it out.
I don't know. I'm loving this season. This episode was great with the flashback.
Just every episode, it keeps going up in my rankings of best seasons.
Yeah.
It really does. And I'm hoping it keeps doing that and doesn't just like drop off at some point.
Yep. And I'm glad that that's happening.
I don't know, it's usually the ending that lets us down with Horror Story. Like the journey is fantastic. Like it just always goes up and up and up and up. Well, and then it just bottoms out with the finale.
I've just come to expect that now.
Yeah.
But y'all know, last season I wasn't feeling it. At least the very last half of the season I wasn't feeling it. And it just kind of just left a sour taste in my mouth with that whole thing. It wasn't American Horror Story Roanoke. It was American Horror Story TV tropes, and after on top of that, and then what they did with Hotel, I wasn't like a big fan of Hotel either. So the show has been like declining for me after Coven.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm happy to say like this is now probably my 2nd favorite season.
Yeah,
we are. All right, then. I would say that's our show.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, where can they find you?
Down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM.
Jake, where can they find you?
You can find me and all of my Googles and Gorn Monsters and Mayhem here on YouTube at Jacob Salazar, or you can find me on Twitter, tweeting me throughout the week about the life at ToNowhereland. That is TONOWHERELAND. Join the Nowhereland Society.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at Thiladrin. You can find all of us on Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Google+, MySpace, and YouTube, and coming soon to Twitch at ASOTV Podcast. You can follow us at those places for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows, movies, and games. Thank you all for watching. Farewell.